Hello, everyone. We are back again from Inside and Out Consulting. You have Dr. Sasha Johnson here, and I'm super excited as we bring up the topic on the power of love. We have been highlighting our dynamic team members. One that is going to be an amazing highlight today of Mr. Coach Weslee. And if you know anything about him, he's amazing. He has a true dynamic background. He's a starer, not a star, a starer. And he also is an actor, an amazing singer, a teacher, a coach, and also a therapist here with Inside and Out Consulting. We are really happy to have him on our team. We're grateful to have you. And I'm looking forward to hearing you speak on this topic today. As you guys know, this is something that we've been doing, highlighting different topics to shed some insight on the mental health challenges that some people may face and also provide some clarity and also possibly some coping mechanisms. So I'm going to pass the torch over you to Coach Weslee. Of course, this is just you taking the time to have a conversation with the audience. I'm going to highlight you here so you can just take over, but I don't think I can hear you. No, I was noticing it the whole time. I can't hear you. I don't hear you. I can't hear you at all. It might be the headphones, possibly. It's okay, guys. If you know anything about technical issues, you already know how it goes. Mm-mm, I don't hear you. I see my audio, but I don't hear you at all. Let me see if it's gonna. It might be. Maybe you need to go out and come back in. Oh wait,
How about now?
I hear you now.
Yay! I
Yay.
think I needed to allow it to access the microphone.
Okay, it's fine. Look, they know that this is a space of technology and things like that. You already know it does what it wants to do. I'm going to go ahead and step off the screen and allow you to take us on this journey of the power of love.
Indeed. Thank you, Dr. Sasha. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, this is Dr. Sasha Johnson, the CEO of Inside and Out Consulting. I have the pleasure of serving as one of the behavioral health specialists with Inside and Out. And we have a webinar going on right now. And several of the therapists are moving forward and sharing their thoughts and ideas on various topics. The other day, Chelsea talked about stigmas that have to do with mental health and that sort of thing that's surrounding it. Well, I want to talk about the power of love. Why the power of love? I'm glad you asked. Because love is the principal thing. Now, I'm a little unorthodox, and so I may not necessarily follow your the ways that you may have get used to getting information, right? But I'm going to bring it to you straight like I know how. Is that all right? Okay. So the power of love is very important to me. Now, uh, not a religious thing, but want you to know I remember reading somewhere where we should love God with our whole heart, mind, soul, and strength, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And on these two hang all the law. That's a scripture, right? I don't even know where it is, but I just know that that's where it is. And that means basically that love runs stuff. Everything that you are governed by is governed by love. You get what I'm saying? If it's like take the Ten Commandments, you know what I'm talking about? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet. All of these commandments, they're all covered under love because if you love somebody, you won't steal from them. If you love somebody, you won't kill them, et cetera, right? I want to talk about this love thing right now because um, it's important. Okay, all right. I'm in the show. Everybody can see me. Okay, good. I like this. Oh, I like where this. I like where that looks. All right, and then feel free to chime in if you're tuning in at all from anywhere. I have my Instagram family here as well as my StreamYard family. Feel free to chime in. But I want to talk about the different types of love and its power. So, of course, you have what a lot of people call eros, or the romantic type of love that's normally shared between partners, that husbands and wives share, and intimate partners, they normally share that type of love, right? Um, and that's important. Love is oftentimes self-sacrificing. Somebody said that love is an action word. You've heard it said, love is what love does, right? And all those things are very true when it comes to love. But love governs your actions. Little transparency moment here. Um, my mother was strung out on drugs for a large part of my life. And I thought that I was showing her love by always giving her what she wanted. Like always, if she asked for some money, I would give it to her. If she asked for this, that, and the other, I would do it for her. But I found out that I was a codependent enabler. What does that mean? That means that we're both dependent on this drug. We're both dealing with this drug thing. But I was an enabler, meaning that I was helping her to support her drug habit. And so one of the best ways that I could show her love was by telling her no. That was one of the hardest things for me to do. A lot of times we adults, who have children and that sort of thing, um, you want to give your children everything that you didn't have, or you want to give them everything that they want, right? But I'm here to tell you, one of the most powerful tools that you can use and this demonstrating love is by telling your babies no. If your child is 7 years old, tell them no, they can't drive. You get what I'm saying? You're picking up what I'm putting down? And so that love thing is very important for us to make sure that we help lead and guide people with safe boundaries and that sort of thing. I'm going to keep it moving. Familial love. That's what I talked about with my mom. Your mom, your son, your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, all those things. That family love is very important. To love everybody, just love everybody. And folks say that I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite uncle or favorite uh, um, brother or sister or child even. But I don't know about that. There are some favorites that just based upon the way they act. But no, but that family love is very important. And it's important for you to show love one for another. It's for you to show love one to another. Um, and how do you do that? You treat others like you want to be treated. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's what it say. That's what the word says. But you treat people like you want to be treated. And that law of reciprocity is in action here. So what you give out, you get back, right? What you give out, you give back. And I always say lead with love. But we'll get there. I'm going to go through these different types of love. Um, but that family love. Now, one of the things that's important, though, and I'm going to talk about this throughout the night. Now I'm going to be on here for at least 30 minutes, maybe an hour. We'll see how that goes, right? But one of the things about love, especially family love, too, healthy boundaries. Yeah. So I was what you would call a pleaser. I would always please people, so I would do whatever they want me to do because I would think that demonstrates that I love them. So even if folks are not making wise decisions about their lives, and so they may run short on some money or what have you, and then they always hit me up. Well, all right, I got you. Here you go, boom. And sometimes I would even sacrifice myself to help somebody else out. That's not really showing wisdom on my part. That's not really showing love. It's kind of difficult to love your neighbor as you love yourself if you don't love yourself. And then let me just go on and just put this out there too. Um, I love the Bible as a reference point. For me, it's a way of life, but for others, it could be a reference point. Um, but the Bible says that God loves a cheerful giver, not of necessity or grievous. Like it doesn't have to be a chore to give, but He loves a cheerful giver, somebody who wants to give. Well, that's the same way it is when it comes to doing stuff with folks and setting boundaries. You know, um, you got to show yourself that you love yourself. And so when you say yes to somebody, when you really want to say no, that's not showing self love. I'm just saying. For those of you who ever ridden an airplane, there is a safety um, monologue that they always provide us. And then they tell you the exits are here and there. The exits might be behind you. They'll tell you about the seatbelts, how to put them on. But one of the things that they say, if in the unlikely event of a loss in cabin pressure, the panels above your head will open, revealing oxygen masks. And then he goes on to say, now just put them over your nose, over your face, and breathe normally. Even though the bag doesn't fully inflate, oxygen is flowing freely. But here's the line that I want to get to. If you're traveling with small children or people needing assistance, put the mask on yourself first. By doing so, you are able to now show up for folks. You demonstrate love for folks when you are able to show up for them full. You understand what I'm saying? Greetings, my Instagram family. I am talking about the power of love. I didn't put a title up here. Um, but we're talking about the power of love here on our StreamYard uh, webinar. But in order for you to show somebody that you really love them, you show up fully. You show up whole. It's like folks driving a car and they don't stop to put gas in it. Well, they don't change the oil. So then it starts to break down. So you have to show yourself love and make sure that you are full and complete so that you can show up for others. Does that make sense? If somebody wants you to do something, like you know, you got those folks who are hey Ross, you got those folks who are they constantly are moochers and leeches, and they always I call them energy vampires. They're always wanting to taking and taking, and if it grieves your spirit, then it might be wise for you to say no, to show love for yourself. Uh, in order for me to properly show love for everybody else, I've got to love myself. I've got to love myself. Because how can I love my neighbors? I love myself. I don't love myself. So loving myself means making sure that I take care of my body, I take care of my heart, I take care of my head, my mind. Get your mind right, right? There are all these people that are out there that can prey upon you. um Community love, showing friendship, platonic love, just showing love for others. And I'm saying love a lot because it is the principal thing. It is that thing that helps you to move when people get on your nerves. Steve Harvey says a lot of times, and those are other people who said it, that life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond, right? Yeah. So life is 10% of what happens and 90% how you respond. How you respond determines your level of love. Two of my favorite words are think through, think through, think through. Think through everything you say and do before you say and do it. Because there's nothing you can say and do to take back what you say and do. I'm going to say that again. Think through everything you say and do before you say and do, because there's nothing you can say and do to take back what you say and do. So your words are like bullets. Once you allow them to escape from your lips, then they go forth and they do what they're supposed to do. If you're speaking damaging words, if you're speaking damning words, and that's what they'll do. They'll wreak havoc. Like a bullet, it goes, and especially if it's a hollow point, and it'll just wreak havoc, tear up everything. But if you think through before you say it, and thinking through has, okay, yes, yes, okay, making sure, yes, all right, let me make sure that I'm doing it right. Okay,
You're
thinking
good.
through,
You are good. Keep going.
okay, thinking through has more to do with, it's not just thinking about, I said what I said and I meant what I said when I'm saying, I'm gonna speak my mind, I'm gonna speak my truth. Well, you gotta think about it. When you say something to somebody else, there is a reaction that takes place. Hmm? For every action, there's a reaction. So if you say hurtful things, and somebody may say hurtful things back, right? I have the pleasure of teaching school, and I teach. It's a K through 12 private school where I work. Shout out to Camp Jewel House. But in my classes, we have this thing called positive vibes only (PVO). What are you talking about, Coach? I'm glad you asked. Positive vibes only because I know the power of words. If you're not leading with love, we don't allow, I don't allow the students to joan, to cap each other or whatever those terms rank on each other and talk bad about each other back and forth. I don't allow that. Why? I'm glad you asked. I don't allow that because it sometimes can muddy the atmosphere. Everybody is not in a place where they're emotionally mature to handle that kind of stuff. So for me, and I love the joke. I get paid to joke. You understand me? I've had the pleasure of being in some movies and stuff, and I get to tell my own jokes and pow, pow, pow. Done stand up comedy, pow, pow, pow. Right? But sometimes those words can be hurtful. Give you an example, and I'm coming back to my positive vibes only. A husband and wife, they're visiting at their friend's house. And then the husband says, "Ooh, you fat and ugly, just like your mama." Then you come back, "I was just joking." 10 years down the line, wife is, "He said I was fat and ugly." You've forgotten about it. But that word planted a seed. You understand me? And when that seed is planted, it's going to, I got you. When that seed is planted, it's going to sprout up at some point. So when seeds are planted, then there's a germination period, and then it grows up and produces a fruit. So be mindful of that. I got a couple of questions here. One says, "How can you lead with love when you have so much pain in your heart?" Mm, that's a tough one. And I can tell you from experience, it's tough to lead with love when you have pain in your heart. Whew. One of the ways that you can do so is by thinking through. When there's pain in your heart, think about it. First of all, you can work on healing that pain in your heart. Sometimes that healing that pain has to do with, if it's somebody or something that's bringing you pain, then separating yourself from that pain. Sometimes that means separating yourself from that individual or that situation or that circumstance, that pain that has been created as a result. Yeah, you sometimes have to separate yourself from that situation. Then, when you lead with love, when you think about the big picture, you see, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. I'm gonna say that again. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And so the main thing for you as a citizen here out here in this earth is to ensure that we are fulfilling our purpose and that we're setting the examples that we need to set, right? And so sometimes you have to put your pain to the side for a minute and then handle the leading with love, because at the end of the day, hurting people hurt people. That's what they say. So one of the keys to getting to not being a hurt person that hurts people is to heal the hurt, right? But sometimes you have to. You've heard people say, "Fake it till you make it." I have to shift that out to faith it till you make it. Faith it till you make it. So one of the ways you can faith it till you make it is you speak it. You call those things that be not as though they were. You talk about those things as they were, like in present tense. Yeah, I'm in pain right now. Oh gosh, I'm hurting so badly. However, comma, I know that I won't be in this painful situation all my life, right? This is just for a season. And so then you see yourself outside of that season. So as opposed to saying, I'm broke, as opposed to saying, that I'm sick, then go ahead and see yourself in that healed place. See yourself in that wealthy place and begin to speak that. And so I'm in a hurtful situation, but you know what? That is an event that is taking place. That hurt, that pain that's happening right now is something that it will pass. This too will pass. You go through. A lot of times we're going through stuff, and the key is not to stay stagnant there wherever there is, but go through it. So that's the answer to that. When you um, love yourself, one of the ways you can love yourself is by practicing self compassion. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. Oftentimes, we are so hard on ourselves, and so we handle ourselves like we can't do any wrong. But I'm here to tell you, we're all me and my partner. We talk about we're whips, works in progress, right? So all of us is on this journey called life, and we're at different places in this journey. So we we're human. Donna McClurkin says, "We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up." Right? So give yourself some grace. Show empathy to yourself. Allow yourself, show compassion to yourself. Understand that self compassion. Again, I talked about setting healthy boundaries. I got my little cheat sheet over here. Setting healthy boundaries. Making sure that if somebody's in your space, your personal space, sometimes, um, or even in your economic space, in your familial space, if they are coming in ways that are not healthy for you, then it's okay to let them know, yeah, we're not going to do this. Okay. And another, back to the question, how do you leave with love when there's so much pain? Go ahead and treat people like you want to be treated. Treat everybody like you want to be treated. How can you set healthy boundaries with families without hurting the relationship? Gotcha. Treat people like you want to be treated. Well, you let them know straight up um, that it's important for you. The question was, ladies and gentlemen, how can you set healthy boundaries with family without hurting the relationship? Well, the way that is, you have to really begin to love yourself even the more and give yourself permission to set those boundaries. You got to remember your worth. Remember your worth as an individual and your obligation to you. You've got to be obligated to you to love you unconditionally. And so sometimes the relationship may be hurt, especially if those people are just there for usury. They're just there to use you to mooch off you, to pull from you whatever it is you're giving. And sometimes that relationship, it may be hurt. It's okay. What? Yeah. You see, we heard our mamas when we came into this world. I'm gonna let that settle for a second. So sometimes people can be hurt. And if people who truly love you are in your midst, then they will understand that you still have to look out for you. There are people, and my mom's illness, um, she used to guilt us into doing stuff. I carried you for all these years, and I did this, that, and the other for you, and blah 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 blah. I'm your mama. You owe me that. No, not really. I mean, yeah, I get it, but no, it's not to that degree. So my mom used to have me shoot, doing all kinds of stuff because she carried me. She guilted me in that. But then when I got to the realization and understanding that I needed to show up for me, then she understood. And then I'll say this too, guys. If they don't understand that, then maybe that relationship needs to shift. So again, we hurt our mamas when we came into this world. So hurt is inevitable sometimes. But you got to think about it. Weigh it out. Weigh it out. In a relationship, honesty, to show love is to be honest. When you show love, you're honest with yourself and honest with those that you love. One of the things that I'm big on right now, in this power of love, as I'm talking, that's one of the reasons why I'm going to talk about it, is you got to go and give folks their flowers now while they can smell them. Don't give them their flowers now. For those who don't know, I'm a singer, and I have sung at so many funerals. I even have had personal loss where my own family members have transitioned. And I saw in the midst of that all these people that come running talking about, oh, I love them, they were so nice. Da, 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 da. Did you tell them? One of the ways you can show love to people is by letting them know how you feel. Okay? So showing love is making sure that you take care of you and then you take care of others. Love is an action verb. Sometimes showing love is something as simple as picking up the phone and calling somebody, checking on them. How you doing? Sometimes that's one of the key ways to show love. You understand what I'm saying? Um, Pick up the phone, call somebody, check on somebody, shoot a letter, shoot a note. There's an old saying, um, if you see a person without a smile, give them yours. Smiles are contagious. Smiles are infectious. That love that you spew, guess what? It's infectious. And then that law of reciprocity is in place. What you give out, you get back. Yeah, and so um, ah, and then another thing about showing love for yourself, guys, is to celebrate your personal growth. Now, it's good to have boundaries, not boundaries, but goals rather. Good to have goals for yourself, and then you set that goal. I want to lose 50 pounds, and then once you lose that first three, celebrate. Now, not celebrate by going to get some ice cream and some cake and stuff. Not celebrate that way. But I'm saying celebrate your those small victories that you have in your life along the way. And that's going to encourage and motivate you. You got to love yourself. Yes. All right. When you love others, go ahead and show empathy and understanding. You show empathy and understanding by letting them know, okay, empathy is to let them know I've been there, done that, or I can see how that happens and understand them. One of my favorite books of all times is The Four Agreements. Now, those four agreements are be impeccable with your words. Let your yea be yea, your nay be nay. Say what you mean and mean what you say. If you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're not going to do it, don't. One of the ways, like even with parenting and your children, right? If you let them know, hey, these are things that I can get with, and these are things, there you go, that I can't get with, right? And if you do that again, then um, I'm gonna take away your Xbox, whatever it is. Being true to your word shows that child that you mean what you say. You mean business, right? That's the first one. Be impeccable with your words. If you tell somebody you're gonna do something, you're gonna be somewhere, do it. Be there. Do what you say you're gonna do. Another one is don't assume anything. You don't know what somebody's going through or dealing with. Okay, you don't know. And so somebody may come into the, hey, he even speak to me. I was supposed to, hey, how you doing? And they didn't even speak to me. Man, they tripping, shouting. It's not so much that they may be tripping. They may have a lot on their mind. They may have gotten some bad news, but you just assumed your significant other is not answering the phone, and so you just assume that they're doing something that they don't have any business doing. They may be in an area with poor signal, right? But you've conjured up these thoughts in your mind that cause you to have all these um, negative thoughts. You've assumed something negative, and that's not even the case. Huh? So don't assume anything. Also, don't take things personally. It goes right back to the assuming thing. You're assuming that somebody's thinking about something, da da da. Uh-huh. And they were handling this way, and you like, what, why you do me like that? It wasn't about you. A lot of us are so vain that we think that everything is about them, about us, and so we take it personally. Baby, case in point, production. For those of you who have worked in the production world in film and TV, or performing and shows and stuff like that, sometimes it can be very hectic backstage. If you've done a play, if you've been on a stage where it's moving and the stage manager has to move things out and so forth and so on, and I tell folks all the time, it's not personal, it's production. We don't have time to call you and say, okay, baby, you got to move over here because this is happening and that. No, no. Hey, gotta go move. Boom. Don't take it personally. It's not about you. That's all I'm saying. And then the last is always do your best. So those four agreements again are: be impeccable with your words, don't assume, don't take things personally, and always do your best. Whenever you put forth your effort, always do your best. Now, as for me and my house, you know, I choose to do everything I do as unto the Lord. Right. And that's just my personal belief. But I say to you, always do your best. And then I'll say this too: if your best isn't good enough, then make your best better. Huh? How do you do that? I'm glad you asked. You go to therapy if you need to. You go get some coaching. You go get some learning, as the old folks used to say. Oh, heck, I'm the old folks nowadays. But as the country folks used to say, go get you some learning. Right now, there's no excuse. There's YTU, YouTube University. Come on, somebody. Basically, anything you want to know, you can learn it, but get better at what it is that you're wanting to do. But that love, love without conditions or expectations. So sometimes love has to do with you doing and giving and expecting nothing in return. Yeah, it's that simple. Sometimes, people, and you've probably seen those stories on YouTube and Instagram and so forth. Where, hello, my people, where where somebody was homeless, and they made some poor decisions. But somebody came along and spoke a word of encouragement to them, and gave them some food, or gave them some clothes or some money to rectify that situation right there. That's an unconditional love. That's that unconditional love. That's what speaks to them. You may see somebody, and maybe not even that drastic, that is going through some things. You may not know what it is they're going through, but their countenance is different. When you speak life into them, that's an example of showing love. Okay, love, and I love the Corinthians chapter on love. Love never fails. Love never fails. Love is not envious. It's not vainglorious. What's up, Raul? I'm doing a webinar on the power of love. And guys, if you have any questions or what have you, even here on Instagram, or any comments, feel free to go ahead and shoot them out to me, and I will acknowledge them, and we'll go forward. But that love is not envious. It's not boastful. When you love, sometimes you just do what you do and keep it moving. Love is not all about, do you see me? See me? Look at me. Look at me. Ah, ah. No. Love moves quietly a lot of times. And then sometimes it's hard to love. And then let me tell you something too. Whew, something else about love. Um, there's a definition that says that love gives at the expense of oneself for the sake of others. That's a cool definition. I like that. But I want to put a pin in that, not necessarily at the exclusive expense of oneself, but love gives unconditionally, Love gives to bless somebody. When you show love, when you show unconditional love, it allows people to make mistakes. Unconditional love allows people to grow and make mistakes. It's not contingent upon what you do for me. It's not transactional. And when you show this love, it reflects or shows emotional maturity. What I've come to the realization of, and this is one of the reasons why, going back to my students, I don't allow them to talk badly against each other or even themselves, because if the moment you say something that's too drastic or the kids laugh too much, then your emotional immaturity will rise up, and then you're ready to be combative and fight. Yeah. Even when it comes to like rough housing and play boxing, play fighting and stuff, you go hit somebody too hard or push somebody too hard, and then so your emotional maturity or immaturity shows up, right? Um, Death and life is in the power of the tongue. So again, I keep repeating myself, but it's bears repeating. Be mindful of what you say, even to yourself. To yourself, and that's most important. What some of us have to do is we got to get in the habit of talking to ourselves in a mighty powerful way. We got to stop downing ourselves, dogging ourselves out. You got to stop that foolishness. You got to tell yourself, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am great. I am awesome. I got it going on. I'm having, full transparency, I'll be having moments and times where I be struggling myself. But you got to tell yourself you got it going on. Hey guys, you got to tell yourself you got it going on. You have to speak love to yourself. You see, be mindful too. Am I out of time, Doc? Or?
Oh, I'm just coming on to join in
Okay,
with you. See,
gotcha,
you out of
gotcha.
time whenever you want to be out of time.
I got you. Good, good, good. Okay, you got to tell yourself that you got it going on. You got to remind yourself. Come on, somebody. My girl Angel said, I got it going on. You got to speak that to yourself, because guess what? What you say, you hear. What you hear, you believe. What you believe, you become. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Be mindful of where your attention goes. Now, sometimes back to that other question that was out there that was talking about. Let me see. Let me go back to it so I could. How can you set healthy boundaries in time without hurting the relationship? Uh huh. And oh yeah, how can you lead with love when you have so much hurt in your heart? Okay, that's what I want to talk about. That right there. Then you can speak to that hurt, or
Yeah.
you can concentrate rather the hurt. You can concentrate on what the healing that you have. What am I saying? I'm not saying that the hurt is not there. I'm not saying that the pain isn't there. I'm saying that you can bypass it for a minute. Huh? And you can speak to your life. You can speak joy to yourself. I am healthy. I'm wealthy. I'm wise. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I got it going on. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. Huh? Whew. All of my needs are met. All of my desires are met. Money flows to me seamlessly, easily, fluidly, without hindrance. You hear what I'm saying? I'm walking in divine health and healing. Everything about me is blessed. Everything is always working out for my good. And that has nothing to do with what's happening around you. There's a difference between truth and facts. The facts may say that you're in pain. The truth of the matter is you're fearfully and wonderfully made. That I'm healthy beyond measure. That's the truth, regardless of whether it's manifested or not. Hello, somebody. But you got to see yourself as such. The facts may say that you ain't got two nickels to rub together. The facts may say that. But the truth of the matter is, all of your needs are met. You have abundance beyond measure. Didn't mean to get in my preach mode. But I'm very serious about this thing. There's love. There's power in love. In these situations and circumstances, you find you got to lead with love. Let me talk about loving people that are different from you. Loving people that are different from you. Now, you don't have to agree with who a person is, what a person does to love them. You don't have to agree with them at all, but you should love them. Jesus was the prime example of love. And they talked about it, how he hung with the drunkards and the this and the that, the prostitutes and the bags with the buzz about, right? And I'm going to touch on something right quick, real quick, real quick, real quick. Those folks who are in the marginalized communities, those who may be of a different race or a different sexual orientation or different thought processes and so forth and so on. And a lot of times people see them as a problem that need to be fixed. I dare say there are people that need to be loved. With loving kindness, the Bible says, have I drawn thee. You draw more people with love than you do with judgment and condemnation. How do you love people that you don't understand, that don't agree with you, whatever? You try to get understanding of what's going on. And you don't have to agree to love. The Bible says we should love everybody. But I tell you this all the time, and those who know me know, and I'm telling the TRUF, that spells truth. I love everybody, but I don't like most people. I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back. I love everybody, but I don't like most people. Now, I don't have to like you to treat you with respect. Loving somebody shows that you treat them with respect. And you don't have to love or respect what they do if it's different from what it is that you do or whatever, but you have to love them, or you should love them as a person. Respect them as a person. That's our bare minimal obligation. Hmm? I was listening to some of these YouTube stories and stuff, and there's a story about this lady who was in an accident, and her bike uh, was catching on fire, and this guy, she's a rich woman, and this guy, a black man, she's a white lady, black man, he comes and he rescues her. And it may be fiction, but it shows the principle. And then instead of them appreciating the fact that he came and saved her, they're trying to demonize him. I'm sorry. If I'm dying, I don't really care what color you are. I don't really care what your sexual orientation is. If you come on. So we got to remember to keep the main thing the main thing. And I'm here to tell you guys that that love is the tool that opens doors. Love unlocks doors. Okay. Sheesh. Um, when you love somebody, you listen. You listen to what they're saying and even what they're not saying. There's this thing um, about the power, um, no, not the power, about love languages. Y'all have heard of them, the love languages. So all this talk is about love. It's got to be important, right? But there are several love languages. Let me talk about that for just a second. The 5 love languages are, uh, here they are. I'm telling you in a second. Okay. Words of affirmation. When you speak life to somebody, when you let somebody know that they got it going on, when you let somebody know that they are valuable, that's the way you demonstrate love. That's some people need that. Some people that one of their love languages is quality time. Oh, quality time. Anybody remember that quality time? The group. Okay. Anyway, all right. But quality time is a demonstration of love. Receiving gifts is a demonstration of love. Sometimes people just like to they like to get gifts. That's the way some people show love. You know, some goes, you love me, baby, give me a diamond. Diamonds are girl's best friend. Diamonds are forever. I need some flowers in my life. I need right? And the other is acts of service. Show me you love me, clean my house, or wash the dishes, or take out the trash, or wash the car. Acts of service is one way, and the other is physical touch. Now, physical touch doesn't necessarily mean getting intimate with somebody. Physical touch can be something as simple as putting your hand on somebody's wrist or their shoulder. That physical touch. But there are so many different ways. Okay, thank you, gorgeous one. Appreciate you. There's so many different ways that you can show love. And so when you love somebody, then you listen to them and you pay attention to them and you see what their love language is, and then you purpose to speak it. When people are different from you, I talked about that a little bit before, when they may be experiencing some um, mental challenges or some social challenges or what have you, then you love them through that. You love them by understanding. Ooh, you love folks by getting knowledge on what it is that they're dealing with. You show love by showing interest in that individual and finding out about them. Knowledge breeds confidence. One of the ways that I love to communicate is through sign language because I love communicating. I love talking to the deaf community. But I'm showing them that I love them by learning their language. You learn the way different people communicate with each other, and that helps you with that relationship. If you know that somebody is a talkative person, chatty patty, and they like for you to talk back to them, then talk. If you know that they need some time and space between an altercation or a disagreement, then give them that. Allow them to rest and recover, and y'all work it out. Um, Love promotes positive relationships. And when you have positive relationships, then that helps to increase your life expectancy by up to 7 to 10 years. So, who knew loving somebody could make you live longer? And then when you show acts of love in whatever capacity, that increases, it releases oxytocin and it lowers stress. Those chemicals that are in process to help make things gooder, not better but gooder, make you feel better. Okay, couples in love and that romantic relationship, when you communicate openly and fluidly, then that helps to make your relationship that much better, stronger. And then when people feel the love that is given to them, it strengthens your immune system. These are statistics that I'm reading. And then last but not least, love significantly boosts your happiness. And so when somebody shows you love and somebody's thoughtful, somebody thinks about you, then that makes you happy, right? And so um, I lead with love. Every chance I get, every conversation that I find myself in, I'm leading with love. Every altercation or disagreement, I'm leading with love. So sometimes that means putting my attitude down and choosing to respond factually rather than emotionally. The Bible says, and again, that's my great reference point, that a soft answer turns away wrath. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're speaking softly. Sometimes it just means that your word choices, the intention of your words, are loving and gentle. David soothed Saul through his instruments, through singing, through the harp, but it was with love. That's all I'm saying. Love is the principal thing. Love heals. I'm just about through. Um, but I want to read this passage and then I'm going to call it a night. I thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Um, um, somebody said, sing a song right quick. And I'm going to say it really quickly.
Can't help with the song. I'm coming off the screen. I can't help with the song. Let me get off the screen. I was about to help you out, but I can't help you out with that. Bye
You can
bye.
help me? But what I will say, though, is one of my favorite songs is Unto the Lord. And it says, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh, my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you. Oh, my soul rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. Let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Okay, I'm gonna stop. E.
All right.
I'm through. I'm through. I'm gonna stop.
All right. Thank you
Um,
so much, Coach Wesley. Look, you done took us there, here, and everywhere, and back to songs. I love it. I appreciate you. I think somebody was in the comments. Oh, saying you better sing. Um, So I just want to say we appreciate you. This was a very needed conversation because love can be seen in so many different ways, but at the end of the day, it should be seen through a pure heart. It should be seen with
mm,
grace. And I think that sometimes we lack and forget about those things, but you shed a lot of light on that today, and we appreciate you. I'm grateful to have you guys. Make sure that you follow Coach Wesley on Instagram. I have shared it a couple times, but I'm going to share it again. It is Coach Wesley on Instagram, but of course, I'm pretty sure he's on TikTok and all those other platforms as well. So follow him, check him out, check up his upcoming. You tell him it's coming up.
well, I've got a play coming up in Birmingham, Alabama, on December 18th through the 20th. It's entitled Miracle on 34th Street, and I'm playing Chris Kringle. Also, on December 6th, I'm singing with the Soul Knights here in Atlanta, Georgia. And so all that stuff can be found on my Instagram page. But I wanted to give a shout out, though, before we dismiss completely, to Inside and Out Consulting and Dr. Sasha Johnson. I tell you, it's a beautiful space to be in if you find yourself where you need to talk to somebody, and where nowadays therapy isn't a cuss word. It's not a taboo thing to talk about. Sometimes to have somebody to talk to, a group, give us a call, give us a shout. Insideandoutconsult.org is the website, and so check out Dr. Sasha Johnson. You can follow her as well.
Y'all
And
focus on following Coach Wesley tonight. We highlighting him. You ain't got to follow me today.
But Inside and Out got it going on, and I'm grateful to serve as a clinician there on staff.
Well, thank you so much. I will appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can replay, you can share. We will have coming up next Miss Rhonda Thompson coming in the next few weeks,
Woo!
speaking on all her knowledge. So we're looking forward to that. But outside of that, guys, we're gonna let you in for the night, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. God bless.